they want to start the chemo tomorrow early because then it's on the one where it's 4 hours in the morning, 4 hours in the evening. So we've got to be there early so they can get the early dose in early enough.
Goes till 2 in the morning.
So I can have the
dose. Waking you up. Yeah.
This one's harder than the chemo before, like with the low dose Aracy and the high dose Aracy, like I struggled much more with the last one, didn't I?
It makes you neutropenic for longer, so she picks up. The second dose of chemo, she got away with picking up nothing at all. Whereas because she's neutropenic for longer with this one, there's more you have chance of getting
I think
stuff.
the more they have, the more chances are of getting mouth ulcers.
She was quite sick.
I didn't have any mouth ulcers last time.
No, but you kind of, you did
had everything else possible.
Have they managed to keep the sickness under control with you, or?
Yeah, most of the time, isn't it?
It's not, but you had those few days where you had those raised liver enzymes and you were vomiting, and they sent you for liver scans, and then when the platelets,
chest X-ray,
when the platelets went down to 8, they thought she'd had a bleed in her brain. So you had to go for those, didn't you? Because the vision, that it was good, but that was all okay because you then had the sight and the hearing. Kind of sensitivity.
Yeah, Tuesday went deaf.
You didn't like the
sight. My ears ring all the time now.
And you didn't like it's a light sensitivity that you really struggle with this one, don't you? Because the last time it was just...
My ears have got bad now though as well, like with the ringing and that. But I don't know if that will... I don't know if the chemo's permanently damaged it or if it will get better, and they don't know either, don't they?
I mean, you come out of it quite quickly, don't you? But then for a couple of days when you were smiling, she'd just bleed. The gums would just bleed between her teeth.
Yeah, that was
just because of the platelets. But I mean, they fill you up again with all the blood and the platelets. It doesn't last for long. It's just horrible when it's there.
They always say to me, like, because I'm neutropenic and that, sometimes I feel fine, like, and then I'm like, can I go home? And they're like, no, like, because if you pick something up, they want to give me antibiotics there and then, like, straight away. Yeah. They don't want to wait the 10 minutes it would take for me to get from home to the hospital,
and
which is quite annoying. I always say to Dr. Grace, there's nothing wrong with me. Don't know why you're keeping me here.
Sometimes you must feel that you've been left out of the party, so to speak. Cause,
God, I used to feel like it.
When Josh was when they went over to do the paintball, what was it? Paintballing?
It's like battle zone. It's sort of like
but you would have gone to
outside.
That. She would have gone to that, like all the bowling or whatever. You would have normally been part of it all and gone to that. But obviously, you're not going to be fit enough to be running.
But that's quite annoying for Josh as well, because Josh, there's not even anything wrong with Josh, but he misses out on a lot of stuff as well because he's with me.
But it's something I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. But I mean, we've cancelled holidays to Spain. I'm supposed to.
Yeah, but that's us.
Yeah,
as a parent, but her friends sometimes got a little bit insensitive as time went on.
But someone from uni sent me a text saying, "Oh, I'm just off to Egypt for the summer, so I thought I'd text you and say have an amazing summer. Like, hope you're okay." And I thought, I'm not going to have an amazing summer. Of course, I'm not going to have an amazing summer. But cheers for your text.
I think some people just don't understand it. And somebody asked you if you were going back to uni in September, didn't they? And you were like,
let me think about that one.
I don't really think people understand about how long treatment is and how many hours and how many weeks you spend in the hospital. People just don't understand. And do you know what? Be grateful that they don't understand. That's
what I say to Dr. Grace. Can I go home now because I'm wasting my life in here?
That's what you say. I think it's frustrating because you've got to the point where you start. I don't know about you, but I start thinking, why it doesn't go away? Why did this happen? And because there's no answer to it,
there isn't. No.
You can't solve your question. You have 1 week out of 5 where you behave like this never happened, and you behave completely as normally as you would have done if you weren't in this situation.
I think that also makes it more difficult because people don't understand how sick I am.
Today we've been to a christening and you were there with your wig on, and people see you and you don't appeal, and
they think I'm fine.
But they don't realise that this is perhaps a few days out of a 5-week period, and the rest of the month has been hideous. And I think that although it's nice for people to see you out and everybody's pleased that you're kind of having a nice day out, but it's cherishing those. What they don't realise is you're cherishing that good week, and with the chemo starting again, you don't feel very well quite quickly.
So what do you mainly do when you're stuck in the room? What have you got? Anything that you can...
Moan. I'll sit and moan all day.
Well, this morning, what time did we get here? 8:30? 8 o'clock.
Yeah, this morning we got here at 8:30 in the morning.
And this is round 4 of chemo.
Hopefully the last one.
Hopefully the last one. That usually takes about a week to complete, depending on the time that it starts.
Yeah.
Today we got here, proper state, and the chemo, had some bloods taken. Chemo went up at about 1 after you had all your anti-sickness medication as well.
Which means that the next chemo gets put on at 1 in the morning, and then they wake me up at 4 to take it off, which is a bit inconvenient, but it has to be 12 hours apart.
So this week you're going to probably feel quite sick, aren't you?
Oh, yeah, maybe feel sick this week, but then obviously the counts go down after that, which is when I might pick up some kind of infection.
Septicemia.
Yeah, which then makes me feel sicker, get fevers. So the chemo isn't actually the worst part. It's after the chemo's finished, which is the worst part, when you feel sick, get fevers, but then after that, the counts slowly start to come up again, and then start to feel better, and then get some time out of hospital.
But the whole cycle takes about 4 to 6 weeks, would you say?
Yeah, about that.
That's about 4, and then you start again.
And then I get a week out of hospital, and then have to come back. But hopefully, after this one, I won't have to come back.
No. But we've been doing this since April, haven't we? And we're now in the August.
Yeah.
And at the end of it, about every 3 or 4 weeks, you have to have bone marrow taken from the hips.
Yeah,
So
that's the worst part. That's quite painful, bone marrow. But just have to scream a bit, get through it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it hasn't made my hair fall out this time. It's grown a bit.
That's going quite well.
So it's all... You can't see my head now. That's what I was paranoid about before.
So this morning, what did they do this morning? It was looking at your iron levels and your platelet levels this morning?
No, liver. They didn't know what the dosage of the chemo would be until they knew what my bilirubin levels were. They didn't want to give me too much and then I get really, really sick. They wanted to make sure that my liver could cope with the amount of chemotherapy that they're going to give me. But I think it must have come back okay because I'm having the same dose as I had before. It's really weird because when I feel okay, like I've just come off a good week, so I feel alright. I feel like a normal person. But then once this chemo week's finished and I start to feel bad, I feel really, really awful and I just won't get out of bed for, like, how long was it before? Like 2 weeks. I just didn't get out of bed.
And you don't eat either, do you?
Can't really eat anything, just feel constantly sick and not very well. But then when my counts come up again, then I feel normal again, and it's just like that never happened. I was at uni in Portsmouth studying a law degree, and obviously when I started to feel sick, probably February, and I started to get really tired, and then I wouldn't go to my morning lectures because I'd just be so tired, I couldn't drag myself out of bed, and I just thought it was fatigue, like I wasn't eating particularly great, or like I just wouldn't really be interested in food, so I just missed my lectures, or if I did make my morning lecture, then by 2 o'clock I'd feel like I wanted to go home because I was so tired, I just wanted to sleep. But some days, if it was my day off, I just would lay in bed all day, like I wouldn't really feel like going out and doing things with my friends. I just want to lay down, like, because my blood count was so low, like whenever I'd stand up my head would just pound and I'd just feel really sick, so I ended up just staying in bed. And then obviously when I was diagnosed, I had to stop uni completely and come back down here, and that was it really. Like, I have to stay here all the time, and there's no way I could have carried on my university course because I couldn't get there, for one, and for another reason I just can't concentrate. I can't revise for my exams because I just don't have the concentration to focus on something and to learn things because I'm just so tired.
Because of drugs.
And like, I don't have a choice. I have to be in this hospital. If I don't be in this hospital and I go outside when my counts are low, I'm just going to get anything. Like, someone coughs next to me in the street, I'm going to get it, and I'm going to get it bad. So that they're going to have to, like, pump me full of antibiotics, and I'll just have to be here. I don't have a choice. Like, there's no way I could have carried on university. Really.
I think
Yeah. Just annoying having to sit here all day doing nothing.
But you know it's for your own good, so it's just having to do it.
And plus, if I went outside, I'd probably get burnt and blistered anyway. So, you know, I'll just sit here and watch the sunshine from my window. This is called a Gresham line, isn't it? Gresham line, yeah. Which it just goes straight into one of the veins near my heart, which means when they give me the chemotherapy or any drips, any blood transfusions I need to have, any drugs, any anti-sickness, it can just go straight in the line. It doesn't hurt. It means, because I have to have so much over such a long period of time, that my veins in my arms, they just couldn't cope. My veins would just, like, shrivel, wouldn't they? And so I have to have this because there's just so much of it to give, and it's just a lot easier as well. Like, in the night, they don't have to come and stab me with needles, or I have bloods every single morning, so there just wouldn't be enough veins to keep up. Because the last chemo was particularly bad, and I got an infection, and I had quite a lot of side effects, and my eyes were really, really sore. So knowing that I'm coming back, I'm going to have the same jugs, and it potentially is going to be just as nasty as last time. It's quite, like, you don't want to come back here, you just want to carry on being normal, but you just have to have the chemo and get through it, because, well, just have to.